starting a new town. Before we even go into those details, I'd like to quickly thank someone for subscribing. That would be, I believe it is Silent Zero Swift Zero Strike Zero. Thank you for subscribing. And here we are at the beginning of a new town in a place, or at least the theme is of the Sand Kingdom people, or maybe a more accurate depiction would be the Sand Democracy, but at the end of the video, after the time-lapse, I'll go into details about the information about the architecture and the backstory between the setting and theme of the Sand Kingdom. But first we're going to just take a quick look of the facilities. Or actually, no, we'll do that after the time-lapse. I'm going to build sort of the first residential structure right over here. And we're going to begin that now. Alright, so the housing block A is complete, and the total residents of the area has a capacity for 4. And this is house A, 1A, that is, house 1A. And they're pretty much identical. The variance between where the exactly where the chest, uh, crafting table, and furnace is slightly different in some of them. And it's mostly made out of sand and a little bit of sandstone blocks here for decorations, for flair. And there's no doors, because you don't necessarily have to have a door to prevent zombies or skeletons from spawning when you're trying to sleep. But, I'll go into detail about the architectural choice, about not using doors in a moment. And so they're pretty much identical, those 4. We'll take a look at the rooftops here. So it's very simple. And if anyone wants any of these houses, their names on these signs, that is, below like the 4A or 1A, whatever, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. Now I'll just go around quickly and show all the facilities they've built so far for this town. And I haven't come up with a name yet. I'll take a look at this farm here first because it needs my attention. Actually, I have come up with a name. I've made my decision. I'm going to call it Agrippa, which is a Greek name. There was a city called Agrippa. I'm almost certain there was. And this is the sheep pen. The sheep are trying to get out. Some of the Sand Kingdom towns will be using wool. Or Sand Kingdom towns, yeah, will be using wool as part of the architecture, but not this one, since there isn't really... This is going to be a smaller town compared to the other ones. Although Sand Kingdom towns will, in general, have a larger population. And so this is the community sort of storage area for this town of Agrippa. I haven't used quite all of the chests yet. This is my storage system. And then over there is just a general mine. So I'll go ahead and explain the architecture now. So basically, general thing about the Sand people, the people of the Sand Kingdom, is that they choose to habitate the deserts because the deserts tend to be more flat, and it's easier to spot the mobs, the enemies. So it's easier to fight them as opposed to uh, settling in hilly, mountainous areas or forested areas. So basically, all the choices, uh, all the motivating factors for the choices that the Sand Kingdom people make is based upon uh, survival and not so much commercial or personal wealth. So there's a lot of things that they'll do for the group as opposed to individuals. So, for example, housing is quite often very close to each other, very similar, and sort of a group situation, a communal situation. And they're also more militant. But as far as resources and architecture, you will never see the sand people using smooth stone because that's a waste of coal. They don't really care so much architecturally about making grand structures. So primarily they will use sand as part of the architecture because it's readily available, and you can't really use sand to craft stuff. They wouldn't use wood because, for two reasons, they're habitated in a desert, so wood isn't always very close by, and also wood's necessary for crafting. So building houses or other buildings out of wood would be a great waste of resources. And as opposed to like wheat and bread, uh, like that I put in the chests before, I will be putting fish because, at least in this community here, is primarily a fishing community. That's uh, that's the role that this town will be playing in as a whole, part of the Sand Kingdom. And more backstory is I never talked about the government structure of the previous towns I was working on. It's part of the Triumphant Kingdom is what I decided to name. I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but it's the previous towns I was working on were part of the Triumvirate Kingdom. Uh, they sort of have a council republic-based government system where each town uh, has a set number of representatives, which is 2, somewhat like the American representative the American representative system. But the Sand Kingdom is a full democracy. It's not even technically a kingdom, so I should be stop calling it that. It's the Sand Democracy, or I'll find a better name. But basically, every citizen votes on every political matter. And so how that works as a whole nation of for the Sand People is when there's a national vote, each town would have its entire population vote and then vote on who they want to deliver the message of what the results was in that town. And eventually, all of the votes would be tallied from every single citizen in the Sand democracy. So it's the Sand people are somewhat different. They're very militant, but they're also pure democracy because their whole mentality is a group situation. Everything that everything is to benefit the entire population. It's for the good of everyone's sake. So they're very anti-individualism is what I'm trying to say. And I think that's everything as far as backstory that's necessary to know at this point about why I use the materials that I use for these buildings. Uh, the the reason why I'll be choosing deserts as the building locations, and just a little bit of miscellaneous information about this nation that I have invented. And thank you for watching. There will be more videos to come. See you later.